This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon request. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. The notice of non-discrimination rights and protections to beneficiaries with regard to the federal Title VI non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is posted in this meeting room and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Thank you. Call to order, Bill.
Yes, sir. Abington,
Johnstone.
Avon, Bridgewater,
Shane O'Brien, Town Planner.
next Shane, Brockton, Easton, East Bridgewater, Duxbury, Halifax, Hanover, Hanson,
Don Howard from Hanson.
next Don, Kingston, Pembroke, Plymouth, Plimpton, Stoughton, West Bridgewater, Whitman.
Dan Salvucci, Whitman.
Thank you. Brockton Area Transit.
Michael Lambert and Kelly Forster are here.
Thank you. Gatra, MassDOT District 5.
Hi, everyone. Barbara LaChantia.
Thanks, Barbara. MassDOT OTP. And Walk Massachusetts. And finally, Mass Bike.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Agenda number 2, item 2, any public comments? Seeing none, we'll move to item 3, minutes of November 6th, 2025 meeting. Are there any revisions? And if not, Bill, can you make a motion to approve? Or can someone make a motion to approve?
I will motion Dan from Whitman.
Thank you, Dan. Can I get a second?
I'll second it from Hanson.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Abington,
Yes.
Avon, Bridgewater,
Yes.
Brockton, Duxbury,
Yes.
East Bridgewater, Easton, Halifax, Hanover, Hanson,
Yes.
Kingston, Pembroke, Plymouth, Plimpton, Stoughton, West Bridgewater, Whitman,
Yes.
MassDOT District 5,
Yes.
MassDOT OTP, Brockton Area Transit,
Yes.
thank you, Gatra, and Walk Massachusetts, and Mass Bike. Okay, all set.
Thank you, Bill. Moving along to item 5, communications. Sean?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item on the communications packet is the Route 18 and Route 123 intersection improvements project in the town of Abington. There is a virtual design public hearing being held on Thursday, December 11th at 6:30 p.m. For more information and to register, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. The next item is a Citizen Planner Training Collaborative Fall/Winter Workshop Series. The following workshops will be held: Reasonable and Defensible Decisions on January 6th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Planning with Community Support, Wednesday, January 7th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Creating Master Plans, Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Drafting Zoning Amendments, Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Introduction to the Subdivision Control Law and ANR will be held Thursday, January 15th at 5 p.m. Adopting and Revising Rules and Regulations, Tuesday, January 20th at 5:30 p.m. Use of Design Review, Wednesday, January 28th at 5 p.m. All workshops are on Zoom and there is a fee of $35. Registration is required. For registration and more information on these workshops, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. The next item is the 2026 Mass Trails Grant Round. It is now opened. It opened on November 1st. Eligible applicants are public entities, communities, nonprofits, and Native nations. There will be a webinar for this grant round that will be held November 20th from noon to 1:30 on Microsoft Teams. For more information, please visit the hyperlinks in the staff report. The next item, better utilizing investments to leverage development build grant program. The department published the fiscal year 26 notice of funding opportunities. Applications must be submitted online no later than 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 24th, 2026. For more information, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. The next item is from the Federal Funds and Infrastructure Office. Their next partnership meeting will be held December 9th at 2 p.m. To register for the Zoom meeting, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. And that is communications, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sean. Any questions or comments for Sean? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 5, reports. A, Brockton Area Regional Transit Authority, BAT.
Thank you, Chair. Just 2 updates today. First, most important, Brockton Area Transit, along with Kelly and I, along with many of you, attended the OCPC Summit earlier this week, and just had a great time and really impressed by the amount of work that is getting done on behalf of our region, and just enjoyed the chance to celebrate that progress and those achievements, and hang out with our regional partners. Second update, and I see Shane is in the meeting as well. We launched a Bridgewater microtransit service a couple weeks ago. We're still ironing out some software complications, but the service is up and running and providing at least dozens of trips a day. But we're looking forward to increasing our service there over the next few months. That's it for our update.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions or comments for Mike? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 5B, Greater Attleboro Taunton Regional Transit Authority, GATRA. Is anyone from GATRA here?
I don't see anyone from GATRA, but if somebody joins, I will let you know.
Sounds good, Sean. We'll move on to agenda item 6, old business. A, federal fiscal year 2026 to 2030 Transportation Improvement Program implementation. Tip.
Thank you, Chair. So I have a couple of project updates that are shaded in blue in your staff report. The first one there is on the first screen. So the Abington project, the intersection improvements from Hancock Street and Chestnut Street, which is programmed for this year. MassDOT has received PS&E resubmission 1 on that, and that project is in very good shape to be advertised this year, so that's great news. And then if you just want to skip down to the next page, we see the blue. Okay, here we go. And as Sean reported a moment ago, there is a virtual design public hearing scheduled for the other project in Abington, Route 18, Route 123. And that is that's a week from today, December 11th. And that is virtual and open to everyone. And that is my update for this current tip.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7, new business. A, South Coast Rail Operations Update. Guest speaker, Gene Fox, Mass DOT.
Okay, so I had a message from Jean that she was having trouble.
I did it.
Okay, you did it. Great. Awesome. Happy year.
Well, Bill, that's why I sent you the presentation, because I can't even log on to a Zoom meeting easily.
Oh, no
So I
worries.
was hoping you could put it up for me.
Yep, yeah, we have it embedded in the report here, so you're all set.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Mhm. Yeah, so we've been together in the past, and I was really flattered that you wanted to get an update, because there has been quite a bit of activity since we launched last March. And I'll go through some of the background just to bring everyone up to date. If we could have the next slide. So we have weekend service. We have all kinds of wonderful things that are starting to happen here. And economic and land use, all the stuff we did in preparation. Remember, the last commuter rail service ended in 1958. South Coast Rail finally began construction in 2019. And then again, we launched in March of this year. The next slide, please. Yes, there we are. So this shows you, the little map shows you exactly where we did. We extended what stopped at the Lakeville station, the Middleborough line. We extended along the Middleborough secondary and down to the terminal cities of Fall River and New Bedford. That's interesting because that's not on that photo, unfortunately. That's a freight train, but that's okay. Next slide, please.
Train's a train.
A train's a train. So again, the major construction actually began in 2020. We did have supply chain issues. We did have COVID-19. It added some certain levels of complexity to the construction, and so it was late. In fairness, we had hoped to be finished quite a bit earlier, but we finally got it up and running in March. The testing and commissioning that we had to undertake for this commuter rail extension was extensive. Federal requirements are robust, as they should be. Anything that goes wrong along the way, whether it's one transponder for your PTC system or one signal that's malfunctioning just a little bit, you go back and you start again. So that took us quite a bit of time as well, but certainly worth the effort because what we have is a very safe and well-functioning line here. Again, March 24 was a big, rainy, horrible day, but that's when we launched. Next slide, please. So again, we have the 6 stations. Middleborough is literally 5/8 of a mile from where the Lakeville station is, which still serves the Cape Flyer. And then we added the East Taunton station, the Freetown station, Fall River Depot, and then in New Bedford, we have Church Street and New Bedford. Next slide. Well, this was a big day. The big day in March. We did the weekend rollout service, but we had some problems. What happened is we didn't have, as it turns out, enough qualified engineers when we were ready to launch. We actually did have just on the margin of enough, but of course, a weekend comes along and people were badly inconvenienced. The backup plan, whenever there's a commuter rail issue, to move people is by bus. And the bus operator, Yankee Bus, was really not familiar with our region. So in a couple of cases, we had Fall River passengers ending up in New Bedford and vice versa. So initially, we had a number of hiccups, let me say. But we worked hard to remedy them. By June, we had closed all the staffing gaps. So we're in very good shape with engineers and conductors on this line. And the bus service has actually become acclimated to the climate, to the area. So we also extended the free service for quite a while to make up for some of the inconvenience that passengers felt. But I will say that even with those inconveniences, most people were absolutely thrilled just to have a train. So we're on target now. You'll see in a little bit. Overall, we're 91%-ish on time, which is really good because we just came through what we call slippery leave season. In the fall, you get the leaves on the tracks, and sometimes the engineers, certainly because of safety, will slow down, and that will add to commuting times and some other little hiccups. But overall, we're doing pretty well in terms of overall performance. Next slide. So we're providing more service. We initially planned on 26 trips a day. We were going to take the 24 that were already running, and we were going to make them up to 32. So the layover activities also are a little more robust than what we initially proposed. So we have a lot of activity going on at both layovers, the one in Fall River and the one in New Bedford. But overall, things are going really well. The last trains are coming in around 2 a.m., which some people don't like. But there was a hue and cry out of Boston commuters that leaving Boston at 10:30 wasn't late enough. So we're still trying to keep that late night service going, but we're constantly looking at our ridership, at our schedule, and the overall operations. That's Weaver's Cove right there in the photo. Next slide, please. So demand's been rising, we're happy to say. Again, we increased the trips from 26 to 36, not 32. We're taking about 2,000, riders are taking 2,000 more trips per day on the new line. And we see that weekly ridership's up 36%, weekends are up 13. We can't really tell you what's happening on Route 24 because it's always crowded. But we do know people are riding this train. I rode it today. I'm in Boston. I had a great seat, had a perfect ride. Everything was on time. I'm very happy with the convenience factor. Next slide, please. So it's May to September, we saw continued increases, which kind of surprised me because typically in the summer you see some decrease. But I think the novelty of the line encouraged people to ride it. And particularly in the summer, we saw a lot of people going up to visit the museums and, visit the gardens, go to a game. So we saw quite a bit of that actually over the summer. So what we're showing from Keolis in May, we had 33,621 riders, and as of September, that was almost 4,200. So a good increase in passengers using the connecting trains, which was a novel aspect of this service. What we do is take those trains that are coming out of South Station, for example, you can get on any train. If you want to go to New Bedford, the next train out of South Station is a Fall River train. You can switch in East Taunton to get on your train. Doesn't matter what your destination is. A connecting train will be ready to take you to the city that you need to get to. And again, our on-time performance is at 91 and plus right now. We expect that to continue to improve. Next slide, please. So safety absolutely has been key. We still have a lot of trespassing going on even in the cold. We developed the Safety First program with South Coast Rail, which the MBTA has adopted on their safety website. We continue to press for the safety messaging. Remember, this was an area that really didn't have much traffic at all, the occasional freight train. So the right-of-way sort of became a recreational area. And it's everything from dog walking to shortcuts to ATVs and dirt bikes. We still see that. It's improving, but I don't think we want to shut down the safety message. We're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to ask our schools to display our very brief but very, very comprehensive video series, age-appropriate video series that tell children about railroad safety and why it is very imprudent to be in the right of way. Could I have the next slide, please? So I did a small kindergarten through grade 2 presentation with Operation Lifesaver materials. It was very successful. The kids really got it. We work very closely with Operation Lifesaver. We actually got a grant through our program to develop the materials in multiple languages. Operation Lifesaver only did English and Spanish. So we got 5 different languages, and we have shared those, and Operation Lifesaver now has those on their website. Next slide, please. Blue signs, I always remind people of the blue signs. I'm sure everyone in this room knows what they are, but we keep telling people when you see, that's what you use if you see an issue at a grade crossing or along the tracks. They're at every grade crossing. That's the fastest way to get a hold of somebody to stop a train if there's a problem at a grade crossing. Unfortunately, they're not huge, so I have to keep reminding people, look for those signs. They're super important. And that's the number. That particular one is at Brightman Lumber in Freetown, but they're at every crossing. Next slide, please. So this is the meat of it, which I'm really excited about. We know transportation boosts economic vitality and job opportunities. So we've got a lot of transit-oriented development already happening in New Bedford, Taunton, and Fall River. Through a lot of our technical assistance, there were some zoning reforms. So in Taunton, we've got 4 apartment complexes going up right next to the station. On Route 79, the Boulevard project that's right there, it's actually moving along beautifully, was kind of conducted, in sync with us. It opens up a number of parcels actually for development that'll have a view of the Taunton River and ready access to the train. We know we created hundreds of construction jobs, and we know that economic development will create additional jobs as well, which is really good for the region. And this high capacity transit link is linking employment markets as well. Next slide, please. So just so you can see, right before our launch down in New Bedford, Mayor Mitchell announced a proposal to create a more walkable, business-friendly and commuter-friendly neighborhood in the project area. So that's Class Key Common, that whole area. And I know they're looking at a Route 18 Boulevard project as well, which will connect the neighborhoods to the waterfront, which is what they're doing in Fall River. Next slide. And this one is the construction has already begun on a mixed-use development. It's a 5-story building in the downtown, and it includes 52 units of mixed income and affordable renting housing, as well as commercial space. Very exciting. And I mentioned the units that are going up in East Taunton, right next to the station. They're under construction right now. Next slide. And in Fall River, again, this was the Route 79 project. This is just a schematic of it, but it's connecting the neighborhoods to the waterfront, opening up parcels for development, all in the area of the Fall River Depot Station. Next slide. So what did we learn? A few things. We learned that it takes time, it takes money, it takes leadership, and finally, an enormous amount of patience. But we worked with elected officials over many, many years, and they never lost sight of the importance of reconnecting southeastern Mass to Greater Boston. And that's key. Success was made possible by a strong collaborative effort between a number of governors, MassDOT leadership, the T, state and federal agencies, as well as the public. And we did commit to very robust public outreach from the very beginnings of this effort to the end. We maintained a strong commitment to making sure the public was involved and updated on everything that was going on, and having that public support was pivotal. Next slide. So now it's a new beginning. We have this train, and it's a wonderful place to be. We're really grateful for everybody's support along the way. And, it's everything is a work in process. This was a huge step forward for us. I know it's a huge step forward for everybody to have the new ridership coming through all these communities. Very exciting time for us. And I think that's all I had, Bill.
Very good.
Well, no, there's what I always give you, which you already know, but we have customer support and schedules and alerts, for anyone who's, but that, by the way, is the East Taunton station, the Center Island platform. Any questions?
Any questions or comments for Jean?
I'll just say thank you for this. This is great, and I'll share an anecdotal story of what a great job both the MassDOT and the T does, with the safety. So my son is 3 years old, and one day we're driving over the tracks in Hanson, and out of nowhere my son says, "You don't walk on the tracks." And like,
Wow!
yeah, I'm like that's right, buddy. And then yeah, it's like and you don't stand on the yellow at the station. And I'm like, yeah. And so I'm like, I'm like, where'd this come from? And
Beautiful.
so I found out that a Whitman police officer,
Yeah.
the preschool's in Whitman, and so a Whitman police officer had come in and talked to the kids and teachers too about train safety. And I thought that was awesome. And that was an example of not only the state reaching out, but the partnerships they have with public safety and everything. So
Yes. Yes, we have a number of events where we do engage police officers. We did it last year, we'll do it again. But I also have found, Bill, and that little group I did in New Bedford, the kindergarten through grade 2, they take the message very seriously and they take it home, which
Yep.
is exactly what your son did.
And then and then they'll call out their grown-ups on if
There
they're
you
doing something
go.
wrong. Yeah.
There you go. Well, great. That's good to hear. I'll share that.
Awesome.
Any more questions or comments?
Yeah, just one quick comment. Thank you for the presentation, Gene. This was great. I actually live right down the street from the East Taunton station, about a mile or so. I've taken it to work along with Kyle Mowat a handful of times since it comes right right to the Brockton station. And even just last month, when Kyle, Matt Dyer, Guo Chung, and myself went to the Moving Together conference, we also took the train all the way into Cell Station. So this has been a wonderful
Oh.
addition to the South Coast and Southeastern Mass, and very very happy that it's available.
Oh, thank you, Sean. I am too. That's the train I take. I go out of East Taunton Station.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful station.
Oh, it is. It's really wonderful. But everything is. It had a lot of salt on it today, though. Let me tell you, they kind of need to ease up on the salt. But nobody was falling, so there you go. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation. And you know where to find me. If you ever have any questions or concerns, please reach out. Happy to respond to the best of my ability.
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll sign off now. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Take
Have a
care.
great one. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, Gene.
Bye.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 7B, federal fiscal year 2027 to 2031 Transportation Improvement Program. Review of evaluation criteria and project programming process.
Thank you, Chair. Now that we're starting to really fully get into the development of the 2027 to 2031 tip, I thought I'd take this opportunity to just refresher on how projects get programmed into the tip. So you can see on your screen there's a series of milestones that we go through as we develop the new tip. So coming up in February with a date still to be determined, but it's usually the first week. We have what's called Tip Readiness Day. So that's when the RPAs, the MPOs will meet with MassDOT and we'll go through every project in the existing tip and then every project in the universe of projects, which I'll show in a moment, and talk about where these projects stand. Are they ready? If they're currently programmed in the existing tip, are they still looking good for their current years, or should they be moved? And then, are there projects kind of waiting in the universe that seem to be moving forward and have an opportunity to be programmed? So that's kind of the first milestone in the development process. After that, we'll begin developing a set of programming scenarios, and then at the March 5th JTC meeting, we'll present those draft program scenarios. There's usually, we usually aim to have about 3 draft scenarios that look at, so we determine project readiness, how projects score against each other, and then also physical constraint, how we can fit them into the tip. We'll come up with potential scenarios, and then following that JTC meeting on March 17th at the MPO, we will ask the MPO to select a preferred set of projects. So of those draft ones, one of them will become the quote unquote preferred one, and that will be the set of projects that we use going forward in the development of the tip. Then following that, on April 20th, we'll bring the draft tip in its complete form to the MPO and ask for it a release to a public review and comment period. And then a month after that, in May, that's when we have a potential endorsement of the tip. So it's a process that does, it goes by quickly. And so we're really starting this off now. So you may ask, well, how do we determine which projects get programmed? So we do have one of the big factors, not the only factor, but one of the big factors, the evaluation criteria, which we come up with a 100 point base score. So you can see on your screen there's 6 categories that projects get scored on. System preservation and safety, those are the 2 big ones. Those are the categories where in each one, a project can receive a maximum of 30 points. And then finally, mobility, economic impact, environmental and health impact, and community support and consistency with state and federal policy. Each one of those can receive a maximum of 10 points. And that brings us up to a potential of 100 points for any given project. So if you want to go to the next page. Okay, so this is I won't go through this line by line, but this is the existing universe of projects. So some of these projects are, as you know, they're currently programmed. So we'll be reviewing those and determining the state of those and how they are looking in the current program years. Other projects that are still waiting to find a place on the tip, we'll be reviewing those. So this is really how we start to develop that fifth year of the tip, which is, you know, kind of the blank slate, if you will. So projects that score well, those are going to obviously be considered first against other ones, but then you know, then you have to consider project readiness, overall fiscal constraints. So, you know, project could score really well, score really high, but we just not currently able to program it in the current tip, or the new tip, I should say. So, you know, there's a variety of factors that go into it. It is a collaborative process between the MPO, the communities, and MassDOT. So I think this universe is a total 3 pages. And I do encourage you to take a look at this at your convenience. And if you have any questions about specific projects that are in your region, absolutely, you know, reach out to me and you know, we can talk about it. Some of these are fairly old; they haven't really moved in a while. Some of them are new. I think the newest one that we have is in Kingston. We recently initiated a project for improvements at Route 53 and Route 53 on Route 53 and Route 3A in Kingston. So that's the newest one on in our universe that I recently scored and will be getting considered for that 50-year programming. So next page. So the next few pages, take a look at how how the evaluation criteria breaks down. I won't go through it. Won't go through each one, but just as an example. So this is that first category I spoke of: system preservation, and modernization. So you can see we take those maximum of 30 points, and then it's broken down into subcategories, if you will, and each subcategory is scored. So the first line there, the effect on the primary asset. So if is it going let's say it's a roadway reconstruction project, if it's going from poor condition to excellent condition, and presumably any project the end result would be excellent. So if it's going from poor to excellent, then it's going to get a 10. If it's, moderate shape, but not poor, and it's going to go to excellent, then, it might get like 7. So the primary assets, the first category, then the secondary assets, those are things like sidewalks, streetscaping, things like that. So the effect on that, the use of modernization technology in the project, that's considered, and how are transit elements built into the project. So you take all these, and you can get a maximum of 30 points in this particular category. And the rest of the scoring categories work the same. So let's go to the next one. So you get it. So this is safety. Okay, so just like the previous one, it's looking at the existing characteristic and how it's going to improve. So is it a high crash cluster, and then potentially the improvements are going to significantly improve safety, then they'll get potentially 10 points on that, and then each subcategory there. So the rest of these categories work the same. I encourage you to review it at your convenience, and if you have any questions or comments on it, my my email, my phone is always open. I love talking tip and I love talking projects. So by all means, reach out to me if you have any questions or comments.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions or comments for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 8 of the business A, community local technical assistance studies.
Thank you, Chair. So just a couple updates. We did recently complete 2 projects through the LTA program. The town of Halifax, we helped the town with a heavy commercial vehicle exclusion application that they are looking to submit to MassDOT for a HCV zone on Old Plymouth Street. So we helped the town with that. And then Stoughton, we did a traffic study on Elm Street. And for both of these studies, the data and analysis has been submitted to the respective communities. And then we do have a request for a new project. In Plymouth, the town has requested a road safety audit for the intersection of Standish Avenue at Alden Street. And the data collection for that is underway, data analysis is underway, and we look to schedule that road safety audit in January. And that's my update.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 8B, staff reviews on ENFs, EIRs, and NPCs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have one certificate for the town of Plimpton. That is for 123 and 125 West Street, single-family homes. The certificate states that this project adequately and properly complies with MEPA. And then we just have some public notices. First, for the town of Plymouth, notice of application for a 401 water quality certificate. And this is in regards to the Morton Park culvert replacement project. This project involves the replacement of 2 culverts on Morton Park Road, the removal of a wear wall structure, and restoration of the stream channel. And next public notice is a notice of public hearing for a vegetation management plan, and that is for multiple communities in our region. That is on January 8th at 9 a.m. and the Zoom link is provided. And the next one is a notice of ecological restoration project under 301 CMR, the Town River Fish Passage for West Bridgewater. And this proposed, the proposed War Memorial Park Nature-like Fishway Ecological Restoration Project will restore fish passage and aquatic connectivity through the town river. And then the last one is a notice of submission of a yearly operational plan, and this is multiple communities in our region. The yearly operational plan identifies multiple communities where National Grid will be applying herbicides to treat the right-of-ways in the year of 2026. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions for Kyle? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 8C, regional concerns and local community transportation issues. All right, seeing none, motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, Dan from Whitman.
Thank you, Dan. Can I get a second?
Second from Hanson.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.